My brother tried to steal my apartment using a fake real estate business. I recorded his confession. Update 5. 1 year later, the bitter victory. I've been sitting on this story for a while, trying to figure out how to tell it. Every time I start, I get angry all over again. Not the hot, burning kind of anger that passed months ago. This is the cold kind. The kind that settles into your bones when you realize the people who were supposed to protect you were actually the biggest threat to everything you built. I'm 28 years old. I own my apartment outright. No mortgage. No debt. Just keys in my pocket and a deed with my name on it. My brother is 32. He tried to steal that apartment from me, and our parents almost helped him do it. The background. Let me tell you about myself first, because context matters here. I'm the practical son. Always have been. Never flashy, never risky. While other kids in high school were dreaming about becoming athletes or musicians, I was thinking about job security and retirement accounts. Boring, maybe. But I knew what I wanted. Stability. I started working at 18, warehouse job, nothing glamorous. Learned quickly that the key to building anything wasn't about making the most money, it was about keeping the most money. So that's what I did. Lived cheap. Really cheap. Shared apartments with 3 roommates. Ate rice and beans more nights than I care to remember. Drove the same used car for 7 years. Every spare dollar went into savings. By 25, I had enough for a down payment on a small apartment in a modest neighborhood. Nothing special, $138,000, 1 bedroom, needed some work. But it was mine. Or it would be, once I finished paying off the mortgage. I attacked that mortgage like it owed me money. Overtime shifts. Side gigs on weekends. Every bonus, every tax refund, every birthday check from grandma, straight to the principal. People at work thought I was crazy. Live a little, they'd say. You're young. I kept my head down and kept paying. At 28, I made my final payment. Owned it free and clear. The neighborhood had improved over those 3 years too. New coffee shop on the corner, young families moving in, property values climbing. My $138,000 apartment was now worth around $165,000. It wasn't a mansion. It wasn't impressive to anyone who measured success by square footage. But it was my proudest achievement. 7 years of discipline. 7 years of sacrifice. 7 years of saying no to things I wanted so I could have something I needed. I had no idea my own family saw it as their opportunity. The golden child. My brother is the opposite of me in every way that matters. He's the dreamer. The visionary. The one who thinks big. At least, that's how our parents have always described him. I used to have other words for it, but I kept them to myself because I loved him. He was my brother. He's never worked a regular job longer than a year. Not because he couldn't. He's smart, charming, can talk his way into any room. He just always had something better going on. A bigger opportunity. A faster path to wealth. Day trading was first. He was going to become the next Wolf of Wall Street. Lost about $15,000 of money he didn't have, racked up credit card debt, and moved on to the next thing without ever really acknowledging what happened. Then it was cryptocurrency. He was early to Bitcoin, and by early, I mean he bought at the absolute peak, panicked when it dropped, sold at a loss, and spent the next 2 years telling everyone he'd have been a millionaire if he just held on. Never bought back in. Just complained. Multi-level marketing came next. Essential oils, then supplements, then some kind of water filtration system. Each time, he'd show up at family dinners with a new pitch, new enthusiasm, new reasons why this one was different. He'd recruit our parents as customers, guilt them into buying products they didn't need, and then quietly move on when the checks stopped coming. Our parents never stopped believing in him. Every failure was a learning experience. Every abandoned scheme was just not the right fit. Every debt was an investment in himself. He's a visionary, Mom would say. He thinks big. He'll be wealthy someday. You'll see. Meanwhile, I was working overtime at the warehouse, putting money into index funds, and being called the practical one, like it was a polite way of saying the boring one. I didn't mind. I had my apartment. I had my plan. I had my future. Then my brother discovered real estate. The new scheme. It started about 4 months ago. My brother called me out of the blue, something he rarely did unless he needed something, and spent 45 minutes telling me about real estate flipping. He'd bought a course online, watched dozens of YouTube videos, joined a Facebook group full of people sharing their success stories. He knew everything now. The market cycles, the renovation tricks, the secret to finding undervalued properties. He was going to be a real estate mogul. It's foolproof, he told me. Buy cheap, fix up, sell high. People are making $50,000, $60,000 per flip. Some guys are doing 4 or 5 a year. That's $250,000, bro. For what? Some paint and new countertops. I asked him how much the course cost. $3,000. I asked who paid for it. Mom and Dad, he said, without a hint of shame. They believe in me. I didn't say what I was thinking. I just listened, made appropriate noises, and assumed this would blow over like everything else. It didn't blow over. Over the next few weeks, I started getting texts from my parents. Articles about real estate millionaires. Success stories. Testimonials. Mom would call and casually mention how exciting it was that my brother had finally found his calling. Dad would bring up property values at family dinners. It felt coordinated, but I couldn't figure out why. Then came the Sunday dinner that changed everything. The ambush. My parents were unusually cheerful when I arrived. The kind of cheerful that immediately puts you on edge because it doesn't match anything that's happening. Mom had made my favorite meal, which she only does when she wants something. Dad kept refilling my wine glass, which he only does when he wants me relaxed. My brother was there with his laptop. He'd set it up at the head of the table, connected to the TV in the living room. A PowerPoint presentation was queued up on screen. I should have left right then. I know that now. But they were my family. I trusted them. The presentation was actually impressive, I'll give him that. Professional slides. Graphs showing real estate appreciation trends. Statistics about the housing market. Testimonials from his course mentor, whose photo I later found on 3 different stock image websites. He had practiced. He had rehearsed. He was smooth. He talked for 20 minutes about the real estate opportunity in our area. How the market was primed for growth. How flipping was the fastest path to generational wealth. How he was ready to build an empire. Then came the pivot. The only thing I'm missing, he said, clicking to his final slide, is startup capital. I need 1 property to begin. Just 1. I flip it, make 40 to 50,000 in profit, and I'm launched. My business is real. He looked at me. Our parents looked at me. Your apartment is perfect, Dad said. Small, good neighborhood, easy to sell. You could be part of something big. The proposal. I remember staring at them, genuinely confused. The words weren't making sense. My apartment. Part of what? Mom jumped in with that excited voice she uses when she's about to ask for something unreasonable. Your brother needs a property to flip. You give him your apartment, he sells it, and you split the profit. You might make $20,000 for doing nothing. I looked at my brother. He was nodding, smiling, that charming smile that's gotten him out of so much trouble over the years. Actually, he said, I was thinking I keep the profit from the first one since I'm doing all the work and taking the risk. But the second flip we split. And after that, you're in on the ground floor of something huge. The room was spinning. I felt like I was in a fever dream. So I give you my apartment, I said slowly, and I get nothing? My brother shrugged. You get the satisfaction of helping family. And future opportunities. This is a chance to be part of something bigger than yourself. I said no. Immediately. Clearly. No. The word hung in the air like I'd cursed in church. The pressure campaign. Mom's face fell. He's your brother. He's finally found his calling. Why won't you support him? Dad leaned forward, switching to his reasonable voice. You're young. Single. No kids. You could rent for a few years while he builds the business. Then he'll help you buy something even better. Something bigger. This is an investment in your future too. My brother's charm evaporated. His face hardened. I knew you'd be selfish, he said. You've always been jealous of my ambition. You're happy being average. Some of us want more from life. He called me average like it was an insult. I'm average. I have a job, savings, a home. He's exceptional. Exceptionally good at taking money from people who love him. I left that dinner without finishing my meal. Drove home in silence. Sat in my apartment, paid for with 7 years of my life, and tried to process what had just happened. My family had just tried to take my home. The next days were relentless. Mom called crying. Your brother is depressed. You crushed his dreams. He hasn't left his room in 2 days. Are you happy now? Dad sent articles about real estate millionaires. Long texts about opportunity and risk and how the wealthy think differently than the poor. "This could be him," he wrote. "This could be our family. You're holding everyone back." My brother sent business plans, projected profits, spreadsheets showing how much money we could all make if I just trusted him, testimonials from his course mentor, links to success stories. The family group chat became a pressure chamber. My aunt joined in. She'd apparently been briefed on the situation. "Why won't you help your brother? Family invests in family. That's what we do." Mom said I was holding the family back by not giving away my home. I worked 7 years for that apartment. My brother hasn't worked 7 consecutive months at anything. But I'm the problem. The suspicions. As the pressure mounted, I started noticing things that didn't add up. My brother talked constantly about flipping, but had no renovation experience. Couldn't tell a joist from a jam down. Had never held a hammer for longer than it took to hang a picture frame. When I asked who would do the renovations, he waved his hand vaguely. "Contractors. You just hire people." He had no contractor contacts, no real estate license, no relationships with anyone in the industry. The course he'd taken was apparently theoretical. It taught you to identify opportunities, not execute them. The real estate course cost $3,000. Parents paid for it. It taught him nothing about real estate. Just taught him how to pitch dreams to extract money. And now he was using those skills on his own family. When I asked specific questions about the flip process, permits, inspections, holding costs, capital gains taxes, he got vague and defensive. "I'll figure it out as I go," he said. "The important thing is getting the property first. Details come later." That sentence kept echoing in my head. The important thing is getting the property first. Something was very, very wrong. The investigation. I decided to play a different game. Instead of continuing to argue, I told my family I was considering the offer. Just needed some time to think it through. They were thrilled. Mom texted me heart emojis. Dad called to say he was proud of me for coming around. My brother sent a voice message telling me I wouldn't regret this. Meanwhile, I started digging. First, I tracked down my brother's ex-girlfriend. They dated for 2 years, broke up about 18 months ago. I'd always liked her. She was grounded, sensible, saw through a lot of his nonsense but loved him anyway. I'd wondered why they split. When I reached out, she was initially hesitant to talk. But when I explained what was happening, she opened up. "He tried the exact same thing with my family," she said. Word for word. "He wanted my parents to give him their vacation cabin. Said he'd sell it, flip the profits, make everyone rich. When they said no, he raged. Called them unsupportive. Called me disloyal. That's when I knew who he really was." She also told me something else. Something I hadn't known. My brother had gambling debts. Not huge, maybe 10 or 15,000, but persistent. Sports betting mostly. He'd convinced himself he had a system, that he could beat the odds. He couldn't. He didn't need investment capital. He needed money. Period. The deeper dig. I started looking at my brother's social media more carefully. He posted constantly about his future success, his empire in progress, his grind. But he also posted photos of expensive dinners, new clothes, weekend trips. Where was that money coming from? I talked to a mutual friend, someone who'd known both of us since high school. Got him talking over beers. Eventually, he let something slip. "Your brother owes me $3,000, he said. Some sure-thing bet that didn't work out. Keeps promising he'll pay me back. I'm not holding my breath." $3,000. To a friend. On top of whatever else he owed. I also did some research on the real estate course he'd taken. It wasn't hard to find reviews. The company was a known scam, sold expensive programs full of vague motivational content and basic information you could find on YouTube for free. Former customers called it a dream factory. They taught you to sell dreams, not flip houses. My brother hadn't learned to invest in real estate. He'd learned to pitch, to persuade, to make people believe in something that didn't exist. And he'd perfected those skills on his own family. The trap. I needed proof. Something concrete. Something undeniable. I called my brother and told him I wanted to discuss the deal further. Suggested we grab some beers, just the two of us, talk through the details. He was excited. Thought he was closing the sale. We met at a bar near my apartment. I bought the first round, then the second. Kept my phone in my jacket pocket, voice recorder running. And I let him talk. He was charming, I'll give him that. The first hour was all enthusiasm and vision. How this was going to change our lives. How we'd look back on this moment as the beginning of something amazing. How grateful he was that I was finally seeing the big picture. Then the alcohol started doing its work. I asked a casual question. So after you sell my apartment, what's the renovation plan for the next property? He laughed. Not his sales laugh, his real one. Renovation. Bro, I'm not actually going to flip houses. That's too much work. I just need cash to clear some debts and then I'll figure out the next move. I kept my face neutral. What do you mean? Your apartment sells for $165,000, he said, leaning in like he was sharing a secret. I pay off what I owe, keep the rest as seed money for whatever comes next. It's simple. So you're not actually going to flip anything? He waved his hand dismissively. Flipping is the story. Cash is the goal. Don't be naive, little brother. I just need cash to clear some debts. That's what he said after 3 beers. Not investment capital. Not startup money. Debt clearance. He wanted to sell my home to pay his gambling losses. I had him. Update 1. The confrontation. Family meeting. My parents' house. My brother had prepared another presentation, Phase 1 of the real estate empire. He was wearing his best shirt, had his laptop ready, was practically vibrating with confidence. Before he could start, I pulled out my phone. I need everyone to hear something first, I said. I played the recording. His voice, clear as day. I'm not actually going to flip houses. That's too much work. I just need cash to clear some debts. Your apartment sells for $165,000. I pay off what I owe, keep the rest. Flipping is the story, cash is the goal. Don't be naive. The room went silent. Mom's face cycled through confusion, disbelief, and something like grief. What is this? This is your visionary son, I said, explaining how he planned to steal my apartment and pocket the money. No flipping. No business. No split profits. Just a scam. On his own brother. My brother tried to recover. His face had gone pale, but the charm was still there, trying to resurface. That was taken out of context, he said. I was joking. He got me drunk and twisted my words. You know how he is, always looking for reasons to tear me down. But the recording was clear. The words were his own. There was no context that made them innocent. Update 2. The explosion. Dad looked at me. Really looked at me, maybe for the first time in years. Is this real? He asked. Not accusatory, genuinely confused. It's real, I said. And there's more. He has gambling debts. He owes friends money. The real estate course was a $3,000 scam that you paid for. He tried this same scheme on his ex-girlfriend's family 2 years ago. He's not a visionary, Dad. He's a con artist. And you almost helped him steal my home. Dad looked at me after the recording and said, we almost helped him do this. Almost. They were one signature away from pressuring me into giving away everything I worked for to fund a scam. My brother exploded. The charm was completely gone now, replaced by something uglier. You recorded me? You sneaky little. He stood up so fast his chair fell over. This is betrayal. This is what you do to your own brother. What you planned to do was theft, I said. I just defended myself. I wasn't going to steal anything. I was going to use the money to get on my feet and then pay you back. It was a loan. An investment. You're too stupid to understand business. A loan implies you ask permission. A loan implies a payment plan. You were going to take my apartment, sell it, and hope I never found out the truth. That's not business. That's fraud. He looked at our parents, waiting for them to defend him. Waiting for the usual excuses. They didn't come. Mom was crying, not the manipulative tears I'd seen so many times before. Real tears. Real confusion. How could you do this? She asked him. He's your brother. He worked so hard for that apartment. How could you even think of taking it from him? My brother stared at her like she'd grown a second head. In his entire life, she'd never taken my side over his. Never questioned his schemes. Never seen him as anything less than brilliant. This is unbelievable, he said. You're all turning on me because of a recording that was clearly manipulated. He's the problem here. He's always been jealous of me. He's always wanted to see me fail. Update 3. The aftermath. My brother stormed out. Slammed the door hard enough to rattle the pictures on the wall. For a long time, nobody spoke. Mom cried quietly. Dad sat with his head in his hands. Then Dad looked up at me. "We almost helped him do this to you." "Yes," I said. "You did. Why didn't you just tell us what you suspected? Would you have believed me?" He couldn't answer that. We both knew the truth. They wouldn't have believed me. They never had before. Their golden child couldn't do wrong. Any criticism of him was jealousy. Any doubt was disloyalty. Mom finally spoke. "We gave him so much money over the years. The trading account. The crypto. The MLM startup costs. The course. How much did we give him?" Dad started counting silently. His face fell as the numbers added up. "We thought we were investing in his future," Mom said. "We thought he'd figure it out eventually." "He figured out how to take from people who love him," I said. "That's what he figured out." I wasn't trying to be cruel. I was just tired. So incredibly tired. My brother left and blamed everyone. Me for recording him. Parents for choosing sides. His ex-girlfriend for spreading lies. Everyone except himself. That's the pattern. That's who he is. That's who he always was. Update 4. The new normal. The next few months were strange. My brother cut off all contact with me. Blocked my number, unfriended me on everything. I heard through family channels that he'd moved to another city. Running some new scheme, crypto consulting or something equally vague. He'd found new people to pitch his dreams to. My parents and I started the slow process of rebuilding. It wasn't easy. Years of dynamic, golden child versus the practical one don't disappear overnight. But they apologized. Genuinely. Dad took me out for coffee about a month after the confrontation. He looked older than I remembered. "I want to tell you something," he said. "When you were 25 and bought that apartment, I thought you were playing it too safe. I thought you should be taking risks, chasing bigger things like your brother. I was disappointed in you." He paused, stirring his coffee. "I was wrong. You built something real. Something that belongs to you. Your brother has built nothing except debt and excuses. I spent 20 years believing in the wrong son. I'm sorry." Mom's apology came later, through tears and hugs that felt different than they used to. More honest. Less conditional. "I thought I was helping him," she said. "I thought if we just supported him enough, he'd become the person I saw in him. But maybe that person never existed. Maybe I invented him because I wanted him to be real." I didn't know what to say to that. Some wounds don't have easy bandages. Update 5. 1 year later, the bitter victory. It's been a year now. Saturday morning. I'm sitting on my balcony with a cup of coffee, looking out at the neighborhood that's become my home. The new coffee shop is busy. A couple is walking their dog. Kids are riding bikes. Normal life. My phone buzzes. Mom, texting about Sunday dinner. Normal stuff now. No pressure. No schemes. No presentations. It took a year to get here. I kept the apartment. Exposed my brother. Parents finally see reality. By most measures, I won. But I still check the locks twice now. Still get anxious when family brings up money. Still wonder if the next dinner will have another proposal. You can win and still carry the scars. You can be right and still lose something. I lost the brother I thought I had. Maybe he never existed, just a version I wanted to believe in. The guy who wanted to steal my apartment has always been there. I just didn't have proof until now. He had a PowerPoint presentation about real estate profits. Slides with graphs and projections. All to convince our parents to help him steal my apartment. That's not ambition. That's premeditated theft with visual aids. He's out there somewhere now. I hear fragments through family gossip. Another city. Another scheme. Another group of people who haven't learned yet what he is. I don't wish him ill. I don't wish him well either. I just hope the next family he targets is smarter than we almost were. Final thoughts. People ask me how I knew something was wrong. How I could tell the difference between my brother's usual dreaming and an actual scam. I tell them this. When someone needs your biggest asset for an idea they can barely explain, pay attention. When family helps family, only flows one direction, ask questions. When a visionary's vision requires your sacrifice but not theirs, walk away. When the details are vague but the asks are specific, something is wrong. When you've been cast as the selfish one for protecting what's yours, consider who benefits from that narrative. My brother taught me all of this. Not through wisdom. Through warning. He's my cautionary tale, wrapped in charm and PowerPoint slides. Somewhere out there, He's probably pitching his next big thing to someone else's family. Showing them graphs and projections. Talking about empires and opportunities. Making them feel like they're part of something special. I hope they're smarter than we almost were. I hope they ask for details. I hope they record conversations. Because the people who want to take everything from you often share your last name. And they know exactly how to make theft feel like love. Broken heart, the bitter victory. I kept my apartment. I kept my savings. I kept the life I built with 7 years of discipline and sacrifice. But I learned something too expensive. Family can be the biggest threat to everything you build. Not because they're evil. Because they're blind. Because love makes people stupid. Because they believe in the wrong person for so long that they can't see the knife until it's already in your back. My coffee's getting cold. Sunday dinner is tomorrow. Mom's making her pot roast. Normal life now. I'll take it. Edit. For everyone asking about the $3,000 course, yes, my parents are trying to get their money back. No luck so far. These companies know exactly how to make their terms of service bulletproof. My brother knew exactly what he was signing up for. It wasn't education. It was a sales script for extracting money from family. He just didn't realize he'd be the case study in what happens when it fails. Edit 2. My brother has not reached out. I don't expect him to. People like him don't apologize, they just find new targets. My parents hear from him occasionally, but they've stopped sending money. That's something, I guess. Baby steps. Edit 3. To everyone saying I should have seen the signs earlier, you're right. But love makes you blind. He was my brother. I wanted to believe in him too. That's the hardest part of all this. I didn't just lose a brother. I lost the possibility of the brother I thought he could be. That hope died the night I played that recording. No amount of being right brings it back.